Hey, this is Ina, in with you in the Fight Back. I want to talk about the fundamental contradiction in the capitalist system today. Now, when we look at capitalism, we see a system that has the tendency to expand production seemingly without limits. And this expansion of production has allowed capitalism to cover the whole earth. And remember, capitalism it's almost unique in this ability. Ancient slavery, the feudalist system, could not do this. They did not have this ability to expand production without limit to create a market that could cover the whole earth. And with capitalism, we have a system that makes all human beings, no matter where they are, whether you're Korean, whether you're from the United States, from England, from Japan, you're all potential customers. And all capitalists, they want you to be their customers. So in a sense, it's almost paradoxical here. When one capitalist may want his competitors to raise the wages of the competitors' workers so that they can have purchasing power for his goods, but he will, of course, never raise the wages on his own workers because that will cut into his own profit margin. Now, the world is interdependent economically. If you think about it, someone farts on the New York Stock Exchange, millions could lose their jobs because it's just so volatile. It's so irrational almost. Now, capitalism produces interdependence, whether in incomes and the unification of tastes of people. Before capitalism, people have a limited range of possibilities in a small region. This would, of course, be feudalism, pre-capitalist systems. Now look at it. U.S. goods, for example, are sold all over the world. You go anywhere in the world and you're pretty much likely to find a McDonald's. Not a good thing. And there are consequently mutual links being established among products and people all around the world, this whole interdependence. And a way we can also say this is the progressive socialization of economic life. That's one side of this contradiction. And yet all this interdependence is simply centered in an insane way around private property or the private appropriation by a small number of capitalists whose private interest collides with billions of people. That's the contradiction. We have progressive socialization of economic life. That it requires masses and masses of people to produce this whole interdependence. And on the other hand, we have this private appropriation of the socialized means of production by a very small number of people. And it is with economic crises, such as what we're experiencing now, that the contradiction between the progressive socialization of production and private appropriation breaks out in an extraordinary way. Almost insane. Actually, it is insane. Because think about it, these crises are not crises of scarcity. People are not starving because there's too little food. This is what would happen in pre-capitalist eras. If there's a bad harvest, well, you're probably going to have a famine. These are crises of overproduction. The hungry die not because of a lack of food, but because there is too much food. The hell? The hell is that? That makes no sense. It's incomprehensible. How do you make sense of people starving when there's food all around them? Well, capitalist rationality, the capitalist system, makes the insane sane. Goods that find no buyers make no profit. A particular capitalist may be producing all the food in the world, but if they can't get someone to buy it, they're not going to sell it. And if businesses cut back on their sales, they're going to cut back on their operations. And that means they're going to lay off their workers. And laid off workers, they need to sell their labor power to survive. They need to be employed to buy the subsistence, the necessities of life. And thus, if they can't buy those necessities of life, they're condemned to poverty amidst abundance. Think about that for a minute. People starving even when there's enough food. Does that make sense to you? Now we have these periodic economic crises that are inheriting capital. They happen again and again and again throughout the 19th century in 1929, in 1973, and in 2008. And even though these economic crises can be awful, severe, capitalism will not die automatically. It keeps coming back to life like a vampire. It keeps coming back and sucking the life out of people. It keeps enforcing a system where people die of starvation in the midst of plenty. And it needs to be slain. You can't just expect it to die automatically, and it's the task of the working class to be the vampire to slayer and to put a stake through its heart.